I was really excited when I found out that Bionicle was returning, but when I figured out it was a reboot, I got a little nervous. But when I looked closer into the story, I started to think, wait a minute, even though they say it's a reboot, it's still just like the original story. In fact, I'm seeing some similarities. This is my theory of how the new Bionicle story still fits in with the old Bionicle story. Let's get started. Okay, according to the previous animations, the story takes place in the island of Okoto. Wait a minute. Where's Motunui? Where's the island of Motunui? I'll get to that soon. And it starts with two brothers, known as the Mask Makers. Makuta, that we all know and love, or hate, and Ikimu. Wait, again, where's Motunui? What the heck? I'll get to that soon. You see, they live on this island called Okoto. Why would great beings be living on an island unless this island is really the so-called heavens that they spoke about in year 1? Motunui descended from the heavens. What if Okoto is said heavens? Another thing that I have to point out is they fought because Makuta went evil due to the Mask of Ultimate Power, not jealousy and greed like in the original story. This means that Makuta was being controlled by the mask, which means he could have been saved by taking the mask off. So, they battled each other, and they both lost. There was a shockwave which knocked them both out. What if none of them really died? In fact, what if Ikimu went missing, but they were able to recover Makuta's dead body? And they were able to drain the mask of its power and take it off of Makuta, restoring him to his good heart again. But Ikimu was still missing. So they had to appoint a new king, and that new king was Motunui, the Bionicle Lord that we all know and love. So that's where the backstory actually meets up with what's happening. But wait a minute. What about the Skull Spiders, or the Toa? We'll get to that in a minute. Here's where the headcanons come in. I like to think that all that I just told you about Makuta and Ikimu happened thousands of years before the first Bionicle story with the Toamata coming down and the whole story that we all know from 2001 to 2010. But the new story where the Toa actually get into it for the 2015, I believe that actually happens a good 1,000 years after Makuta's death. And let me tell you why. I believe that Makuta and Motunui, they both died at the same time, remember? Makuta died from Motunui's hands on Spherus Magna, and Motunui died giving up his life to save Spherus Magna. So that means they're both dead, which means Makuta's spirit could have followed Motunui's spirit back up to the heavens, where they must have gone after their death. What if Makuta took over and fought Motunui up in the heavens, and sent his soul to the deepest pits of Motunui? At this point, Makuta took it over. He knows that he's won. Makuta is the winner. So years and years pass, and the Matoran and the Toa that are still living on Spherus Magna have no idea about what's happened up in the heavens. And the Toa eventually die of old age. But since they die, where do they go? They go to Okoto, the so-called heavens. But when they get there, their home is plagued by a dark shadow they remember as Makuta. Makuta has taken over the heavens with his army of the Skull Spiders. Where the Skull Spiders came from, we have no idea. Can't expect us to know everything. I mean, come on. But still, the Toa now have to fight the Skull Spiders with the help of Ikimu, and save their world. But they don't remember anything of their past lives, and so things are going to be a lot more challenging for them. So all of this has led me to believe that the new 2015 storyline for Bionicle takes place 1,000 years after the defeat of Makuta on Spherus Magna, and that it's the same universe, the same story, but everybody can't remember anything of what happened before. Well, this was my theory. I hope you all enjoyed. Come back next time for when I tell you the theory of Hero Factory and Bionicle being in the same universe. Till then, see ya. Goodbye.